Scott, good morning. Happy Tuesday. How you doing today? How are the push-ups, my man?
I'm doing great. How you doing? How are your push-ups going?
Doing good. I haven't missed a day since we talked about it, including the weekends. And I got to say, oops, sorry about that. I got to say, there's a number of things that I've done for like physical activity just to try and make my day better. But adding this to the very early morning when I've barely even totally woken up has really kind of changed things. So shout out to you. I'll let you know if I eventually invest in a cold plunge. That might be the next thing.
Well, I was going to say, let's go to the next step. So I don't know if you saw, I have a subscribe button in my public Twitter because I now do a video from my sauna. I have a sauna, so I call it 20 at 520. So every day, Monday through Thursday, I go on my sauna, I have a webcam, and I do a 20-minute workout with 15-minute weights. I sweat. I talk about what's happening pre-market, what's happening overseas, what type of positions I have. We think about getting mentally strong so we could have multiple plans in our day, even before coming to the office and then doing the 6:30 club, which also has a lot of tactical charts, and that's more chart oriented. And then obviously the Alpha team is where we live and we trade all day long and exchange ideas. But the pre-market and the pre-game is what I've been doing for 25 years, which has kept me in the game. The push-ups aren't until lunchtime. At 5:20 in the morning, I am with my weights, I'm sweating it out, and I'm really thinking about my day and framing my day, and getting ready for whatever's thrown at me for when the market opens at 9:30.
Okay, that's awesome stuff. I gotta say, as far as those push-ups go, 6 minutes. Do you take breaks, or are you just 6 minutes, just constant?
I'm going to do a little video to show everyone because a lot of people have said those questions. So I listened to a little tribute to Rocky and Creed. I do as many regular as I can first, and usually that's about 50, and then I always end with 5 really slow ones. Then I rest 20 seconds, and I go really wide. So you're getting a different part of your chest and your shoulders, and I probably do about 30 of those. And then I go really close, so you're hitting all different parts of it. And by that point, I'm already about 4 minutes in, rest a second, and then I do regular 5, 4, all the way down, and then all of a sudden, 6 minutes go by and I do like 120, 130 push-ups instead of in a row. So it's more like a 6-minute process where you're doing all different angles, listening to motivating. Rocky motivates me. I don't know if it motivates the world, but I freaking love that guy. And his mantra of going that extra round is really what has been, the mantra of my life from when I was like 12 years old, wrestling, losing weight, and going against the guys out there. Remember Rocky IV, right before he was leaving for Russia, when he says to his kids, "Aren't you scared?" He's like, "Well, sometimes you do get scared, but going that extra round in your life when you don't think you can is what makes the difference in your life." So that's why we try and do some hard things now as adults, because you don't have many of opportunities like that to build your go time.
Really, really good advice. Folks, you're going to get more than trading advice here. Scott, that's absolutely awesome. By the way, folks, download Scott's free ebook to see his #1 spot to buy and get his free indicator that alerts you. QR code on the screen, link in the chat. Okay, Scott, let's get to some of the charts here. If you want me here? Let me throw your charts. Yeah, let me throw up your charts here. Okay, what do you got for us? I do have a couple of quick questions here. Looks like you have the SPY up here first. That's perfect. One of the things that I was going to ask you here, what does the SPY chart say? I noticed, just kind of going with some of your things, the 8 and the 21, which I see in your notes here that you're going to cover. We're under the 8. We're above the 21. Do we go long if SPY retakes 602? What do you say?
I don't think it's just like a blind go long because of the way this tape is with the tape bombs. It's more like a range trade. It's a setup trade. Like yesterday, we were down 90, 80, 90 handles or so. So there were ways to tactically buy verse a 5-minute low, a 15-minute low, a 30-minute low. There were ways to buy a dip in strong names that were down just because of the futures. Like we saw, Amazon went green yesterday. Google went green yesterday. Reddit exploded yesterday. It's always been going green. Dash went from red to positive. So there are times when it's easier to hold swing longs, and that is when we're above the 8 and 21 day trending nicely, and that's when I usually have 15 to 20 positions on. Yesterday I had like 3 or 4 coming into yesterday because I didn't get stopped out of them on that Friday decline, and it kind of hurt. So I think each day I'm treating as like a tactical day. And as long as names are acting special where I could be long, buy a dip, it could go green, trade around, and it doesn't hurt me, I'll try and stay with that. But there's only a few names like that when you're below the 8 and 21 day in the SPYs.
Okay. Real good stuff there with the SPY. Okay, so the question I think on everyone's mind here is going to be Palantir. Did you have anything else that you wanted to go over on the SPY, or did you have some individual names that you wanted to cover here this morning?
Yeah, I want to do a few names because Palantir, that was yesterday. Okay,
Yep.
now this is today. Palantir, we were talking on the Alpha team. It was really funny because I have this Todd who's on there. He was my pledge brother back in the day in SUNY Open. His pledge name was Flanders, and meanwhile he started a year ago, and he's like one of the smartest guys on the Alpha team now. And he showed everybody he had like 7 different strikes of $85 for Palantir because that was the strike that I had to get above and stay above in order to get momentum. And PS, it's at 100. So he was telling everyone he's taking them to Sizzler. Actually, he might be taking them to a little bit higher end restaurant than that. But it was funny. I didn't play it. I'm not going to make it like I played it. But again, I'm the chief strategic officer. So I just come up with strategies for those who want to embrace or approach certain names. So for Palantir, I didn't play, but it's been on my go-to list for a year and a half. I've played it multiple times ever since it was $11. I just want to say congratulations to investors on Benzinga or anywhere that that got involved in this name early, did their research. There are certain names that could change people's lives, and this name has changed some people's lives over the last few years as an investor. And as far as a trader, it's been a really great go-to name. I've had these three together. Palantir, Reddit. Okay, Reddit. If you remember that gap down on January 27th, I'm like, will Reddit prove its special again? That was down $8. You were able to buy it to go green, proved go-to status. Yesterday, it proved it again. It only went to the 8-day. It reclaimed 195, and now it looks like it's going above 208. Ryan, we've spoken about DoorDash last time. I think last week we spoke about it. It gapped down in the 8-day that Monday. You could have bought it down 4 and made money yesterday. Gap down 3. Could have bought. There are some names that keep proving that you could stay with them at the top of your go-to list. These are your A-list players. You only have so much space in your computers for A-list players. Every now and then, some come in and some go out. Like NVIDIA is not an A-list player anymore.
Right.
Right now Tesla's like a B plus-ish. Yesterday hurt me on Tesla. So let's talk about Tesla real quick, because some guys are like, well, you got stopped out of Tesla and then you went back to it later in the day. Why? I'm like, well, my thought was post earnings, if it was going to be kind of special, it'd hold 384. It didn't. So I get out of 384 yesterday, took my lumps, went to 373, 374, came off of it. And then I saw the news about the tariffs and this and that. It started acting better. So I went back smaller. And now I'm thinking maybe it gets above this 389.17 and fills a portion of this gap just for a trade. So I think we could have a good day trade here in Tesla. I had some overnight. I added only up $1. I'm going to see how it trades into there. Just be careful, because in order for this to fill the gap, it's got to get above and stay above. Sometimes it pushes and fails, gets above 389. Today, that might pay for your lunch. So I'm watching Tesla, but it's not an A-list player right now. It's trying to prove whether or not you could sit in, and it's been a little tougher to sit in. I will say, for earnings this week, I'm in Google earnings.
Okay, that's tonight.
That's tonight. I never take the stock into earnings, but what I do is I take options. I like to buy options when things are down. Like yesterday, the market was lower. That's when you want to buy options for a binary event. So I bought more options for it yesterday. I have some 205s and 210s, and hopefully we'll see how that goes today. It'd be nice if it actually works. There are things working, but not everything right now, because it's been a little bit erratic with all these tape bombs.
Yeah, no question, it has been, and I think that's part of the calculus here, right? Figuring out when's the next bomb going to come, if you can. 2 other stocks that are reporting earnings here, I just wanted to see if you had an opinion on Chipotle, ticker CMG, and then EA, ticker EA. I'm just wondering. I know that these are real popular. They've made some huge moves in the past. Do you have any setup on these, or is there anything that jumps out of the chart at you?
Well, I will say Chipotle is not priced for perfection. It's been in a corrective phase. It was one of those names that couldn't do no wrong for a while. But so, if it has a positive or a strong report and guidance, I would think that there is room. The previous high from December, is 66. So there's room from, just say, I'm not playing Chipotle, even though my son loves it. Double chicken with rice, not so bad. I would buy the $60 calls. And then, if you want to do a call spread, maybe sell the 60. I would do a 60 by 65 call spread, that if it does report and it does behave, that would be a good call spread if I was looking to be long there. But I'm not going to be playing Chipotle. Someone just asked me about AMD. I haven't played AMD in a while. It's been horrible.
It sure
basically,
has.
if I've had a dollar for everyone who said they're buying a dip in AMD, I'd have a lot of dollars, but be down a lot of money because the stock hasn't done anything. But I do think down here there's a setup. It's hated now. Like, this is a hated name. This was 228, 180, 187, 174, and now it's put a low in at 113. I might just, for fun, buy the 120 calls, just to have something on in case they say something that could spark some kind of squeeze, some kind of move. It's not a core play. This is what I call a lotto play. Brian, have you ever won the lotto?
I haven't.
Okay, so that means lotto plays usually don't work, but when they work, they can make you a lot of money. So you don't want to risk a lot in a lotto play. You just want to, put some money that you don't want losing, but it could make you 4 or 5x. You could even do a call spread if you want, or you could even go higher. I would say the 120s aren't really a lotto spread. If you went with like the 130s, which would be a lot cheaper, or a lotto play, that'd be much more of like a lotto type play.
Okay, awesome. I was going to say I've never actually won the lottery, but I have had a couple of lotto plays that ended up working. Shout out to Uncle Warren when I had Kraft calls and he merged Kraft and Heinz a year ago. That was one of my biggest lotto plays. That was a good morning. Okay, really good stuff there on AMD. Is there anything else that's just kind of on your radar here? I said give you the last couple of minutes. Is there any other setups that you really like here? I know we've talked about Amazon before. You talked about Google already here. Anything else that you're seeing out there that you like, that you're looking to trade?
I'm in Amazon,
Okay.
Amazon chart looks good. I'm also in it for earnings. I've been playing this. It's been methodically working higher. This has been one of the Mag 7 names that actually have paid you to buy a dip. It hasn't really been that predatory, meaning trapping you. Even when I was long on this day, when it looked good, I was able to buy a dip. And then if you remember last Monday, that was actually fantastic when it, traded above, made a new high. And then I got stopped out of my Amazon on that day. I was off the desk and I was a little tight. But then yesterday I rebought it back on the dip. So I'm long Amazon into this little, Amazon's up a little bit. It's up $1. I always trim a little bit to net money when it's up, and then I see how it works out. And I also bought a little bit of the 245 calls for earnings just in case it wants to have a nice move of $20 or so. I don't like to miss those moves, and Amazon's one of my names. And I'll trade it after hours also. Whereas if it takes out that momentum level, in order to get to 255, what does it have to get above and stay above, Ryan?
I'm sorry, I can't see the chart there. In order to get to 255, looks like it needs to take out that 241.72.
Right? Is it rocket science, isn't it?
I mean, look, yeah, I went to school for rocket science, Scott, so I get it, but
I didn't. I was marketing finance major.
Yeah, I don't. And before I start any rumors here, really quick, I was a business management major with a minor in finance, so I was not working on rocket ships ever. All right, folks, awesome. Download Scott's free ebook. Get his #1 spot to buy. Get his free indicator that alerts you to all this. Red Dog can't thank you enough. All of the positivity that you bring here, whether it be charts or whether it be really kind of getting your fitness together and getting ready for the market, we appreciate you. Thanks, and have a great rest of your week. All right.
I appreciate you, and thanks for that, because again, we're in a lot of jobs are stressful out there, but you get a lot of immediate rights or wrongs. So you need to be mentally fit, mentally tough in order to, let the market, when it's not rewarding you, you reward yourself. You are not your P&L. Yes, granted, some days feel better than others. Okay, you are who you are, and if you keep building your inner game, everything else on the outer side, falls into place.
Absolutely. And you know what? Focusing on physical fitness was something that I started to do after I started this career, and it helped me, and it continues to help me every day. So anytime someone else is going to promote that same thing, that's something that we can all do here. Starting with push-ups is free. So really appreciate it. Red Dog, have a great rest of your day. Have a great week. We'll check in with you next time. All right.